Hello, welcome back to this space. We have had a few changes. We've added an additional incredibly cute human to our crew. We've also, as you saw on the last few videos, moved houses. I've changed my name to In the Schoolhouse. There's things going on. Let's run you guys up to speed. So if you don't know me, my name's Ellie. I'm a homeschool mum in rural Australia. We live in a sweet little country town in New South Wales. I have 5 beautiful little humans under me, ranging from 8 years old, turning 9 this year, all the way down to 4 months old. I'm married to my beautiful husband, and we are Jesus followers. We are a Christian family devoted to loving and following him. In this space, I want to talk all about homeschool, but there's mixing that with motherhood. I have a huge heart for bringing warmth to the home, which is just a concept that means a lot to me, of bringing nurturing, fun, cherished, beautiful, cozy, close connections and relationships experiences for my children and for those who enter my home. So, welcome. We have been jumping all around the place with curriculum, and there's a lot of reasons for that. So I thought that it might be helpful to give you guys an update of what we're using right now, because I haven't been on this space for a while, and then we can dive into what the future plans are and all the fun stuff. Alrighty, we're gonna have little Miss with us today because she's a bit grumbly when I put her down, but that's okay because we love you. All right, so let me go through my kids' ages and what they're doing currently to just give you a little recap of where we're at. And if any of this curriculum specifically interests you, then reach out in the comments. We can keep chatting and I can obviously do future videos. But let me tell you what we've used and what's worked and what's not really worked and where we're going next year, because I've had to really change things up halfway through the year, which you will see will then very much bleed into the next year and into what our family's gonna be doing. Alrighty, let's start with my daughter who's in 3rd grade. So she has been doing the Good and the Beautiful previously, but found it a little bit heavy and taxing with quite a lot of work each day. She's very advanced in her English and her reading. So I was like, how about we give you a year that's a little more relaxed and go to master books? Still hits all the major things she needs to learn, however, is much more gentle. Now, my little review for this is I love the Master Books company and I think their books have a place for sure. However, I did find using this with my daughter right now, and she will finish it for the year, is that it was a little bit too simple for her. And so we used readers outside of this. We used the Good and the Beautiful readers, which we loved. And also just a whole lot of books that she reads outside of this, and then she does a lot of writing herself outside of this. I think this is an amazing curriculum if you're a busy mum and you want to know that you're kind of ticking off what you need to throughout the days. However, it is workbook only dependent, so there's not many hands-on or learning through other different methods for kids. So keep that in mind. It has its place. It's an amazing company, but we will not be continuing on with that next year. Second, onto that for her maths. She does teaching textbooks, Math 3. Now, she again did the Good and the Beautiful maths throughout her first few years of schooling. However, maths is not her strong suit. She's an English girl. So I wanted to get something that was super fun for her so that we could keep up with maths and not lose the motivation, but it was more interactive. Now, I chose teaching textbooks, one, because all the mums rave about it. They think it's great. But 2, because it's an online platform that isn't gamified. I didn't want to get her one of those maths things, maybe like Math Seeds, where it's a game every single time. I wanted to get her one where she's doing her lessons online and they have a little tutor who talks to them. They can change their character and the background. But outside of that, it hasn't got much exciting, fun stuff in it. So it's helping her to be able to stay focused without gamifying her maths and having her playing on an iPad each day, because I don't want her to be doing that. But this is around 10 minutes a day. She smashes it, she loves it. We're really happy with this and we're gonna keep going with this for maths. Lastly, for her handwriting, we've been doing the Good and the Beautiful. She did her first year of cursive, and we've loved that. She absolutely loves the little drawings and the quizzes and the things in between. So we're going to stick with that with her with handwriting, and all her extra subjects alongside all the other kids of history, science, geography, all of them, we do as unit-based projects as a family all together in our group time. So I'm not going to be showing you any specific books for that today. Onto my sweet little year 1 guy. He is 6. He'll be turning 7 in a couple of months. We started him off with the Good and the Beautiful in kindergarten and found out very quickly it was a no-go. It did not suit him at all. The workbook style, the expectations, the jump into suddenly being able to read 2 and 3 letter words. it was way too much for him. And now that I've done my research and understood more about how boys specifically brains work, I have realized that they work very differently. And so we have played around a lot. What we did at the start of the year was treasure hunt reading, which is a completely free online course. It's in this binder because, in this folder, because you have to print the pages yourself. But it was a lifesaver for us at the time to move from the good and the beautiful to treasure hunt reading, where he's on his treasure map and he needs to get his binoculars and get all these books, and it was so much more playful. He watched a little video for 2 minutes a day that taught him what to do, which he just loved, and then he did it all on the paper. It was a real godsend at the time. However, it had its place and it was right for where it was at, but we realized it wasn't really teaching him reading. It was more teaching letters. So I think it's a great supplementary, but we realized we needed something more intentional to teach him how to read, because that's what he was struggling with the most. Now, I went on months worth of research, and I'm going to be doing a whole video on this curriculum I'm about to tell you about. But for now, I'm going to give you a very quick introduction. Let's quickly dive into Sunlight. Sunlight is an incredible company. I am obsessed with their curriculum. I will be doing a whole video about it. But for now, I just want to show you what I got for him. So originally I bought him the year 1 curriculum, and then I realized, no, Ellie, we've had a messy kindergarten. Let's just go back to the start, do an accelerated version if he's up for that, which he definitely is, and get us up to speed and start the year 1, which says that it's for 6 to 8 year olds, and he's only 6. Start that at the start of next year. The power of homeschool is that we can truly go with our kids at a pace that they're at. And as I said, through my research, I've learned that boys develop later, which means we really should start teaching them these things later, rather than lay this expectation on them and then they're pulling their hair out and we're like, come on, why can't you do it? So especially with the fine motor skills of writing and learning how to read in a really intentional way, I would like to start both of my boys when they're 6. So now my son is 6.5, he's doing the kindergarten one. And my preschooler boy who's coming up, he's going to be doing supplementary things for his kindergarten year, and then he's going to start their kindergarten course, which is for 5 to 7 year olds, when he's also 6. So it falls perfectly in the middle of the age range they recommend, and it's more developmentally appropriate, I think, for my boys to start when they're in year 1, all the proper handwriting and reading learning. So let me show you what we've done. Now you need to put your Sunlight into a binder because it actually comes as loose papers when you buy it. Now I did splurge out and I bought this one and the year 1 from America, which was a lot of money. However, I have now bought the history, science, Bible, literature courses from them secondhand in Australia, and I saved so much money and I'm so thankful. And next year we'll be jumping into all of those courses from Sunlight, which I will be sharing. But for now, let's stay on language arts. My son moved halfway through the year from treasure hunt reading to this curriculum. So I have put them all in little slippies. Every week in here is in a little slip so that when the week pops up, I can just grab the slip out and do what the teacher's manual says for the day. Again, I will do a video that shows in depth what the teacher's manual says and how you teach the subject. But in general, the reason I love this subject is because it is not workbook focused. It has very low expectations for the writing, very high expectations for the richness of learning, knowledge, and understanding alongside your parent. This is a literature-based program. So everything is based on beautiful, good living books. And that is what drew me to this company. And when you look at their language arts, they do a few little things each day, which is writing, but they make everything hands-on and interesting. And it's definitely a base that I can build off to get my boys moving their bodies while they're learning. And they also go at a slower, more gentle pace, which I am all for with English. Like, I want to teach my kids good English as they grow through the years. I don't think that means that they need to be doing big, extensive things every day. If we just do a little bit every day, we're working on it and it's growing. And once they've reached an appropriate age, they're going to be smashing their writing. Now, this course comes with Fun Tales, which is little books. Again, they're all humorous, they're all silly and fun, but really good quality. And that's why I know my boys are going to love it. This course also comes with Explode the Code. So he has smashed through in the first 3 weeks these A, B, C, Explore the Code books. And then it comes with a little Go Fish game and little markers to do bingo. Yes, I'll be showing you a flip through to that another time. But write in the comments if you want to look more extensively into that course and how I use it for my 6-year-old. Now, to finish him up, we've got maths. So we are doing the currently all popular Singapore Dimensions Maths. I got pulled into this in my research last year because it's conceptual maths. Woo, we love conceptual maths. However, we will not be continuing it because it is mastery based. And I did not realize that at the time, and I did not realize that does not suit my kids at all. If you don't know the difference between spiral and mastery, mastery is that they will teach a concept and they want you to master it in that one chapter. And then when they move to the next thing, they need you to know that information or it's not going to work or make sense when you move on. You need to master it in that time. Spiral is they sprinkle little bits in, do something new, bring it back again, and you're constantly being invited into that concept to keep learning about it as the year goes along. Now, that is so how me and my husband learn. We have realized through a lot of discussions, and so it made sense that when we would finish a chapter, my son wouldn't necessarily have mastered it, and the last thing he wanted to do was keep going with that one concept that he found difficult. He just wanted to move on to something new. However, it didn't work in this book because he couldn't. Now, this was a fun curriculum. I definitely recommend it. I think it was great. I do feel like the teacher's guide is a little bit too simple and confusing sometimes, and I do feel like the manipulatives are not involved in this curriculum as much as I thought it was going to be, and it's also quite on the side rather than part of the main course. I also found that this asks a lot of a kid. There's a lot of questions. This is my teaching manual that I'll first teach out of. Then they have the whole textbook and the workbook that they're meant to do every single day, and there's multiple pages, like maybe 3 to 5 pages in each that they're meant to do. So definitely for a 6-year-old, I feel like it's a bit much, but I will be telling you guys what we're going to be moving on to instead next year. Now, for my preschooler, I'm very gentle and light. We only really do book work because he requests of it every day. My preschooler and toddler do a little preschool time every morning with me, which is mainly going over letters and doing picture books together. We make Play-Doh. We might do an activity with letters where we hide them in sand, or we stick them up on the wall, or we blow bubbles over them. But in general, it's just about connection in those years for me. However, I have used a little bit of a curriculum because my little guy requested it. I decided to go with Gather Round Letters and Numbers. We only bought the first book because, again, it was expensive. It was 70 Australian dollars for 1 out of 4 books for the year. So we did the first one to try it out. It was great because it anchored us and gave us something to talk about, but it wasn't good enough for me to keep buying. I don't have the front cover sadly, but here's an example of some of the pages. Pretty much they focus on an animal every day, and then they have a few little worksheets that are like cutting and chasing that connect with that animal, which is fun. But I realized my little guy didn't as much want to sit around listening to facts about animals. He'd more like things in story form, which is a huge reason why we're going over to Sunlight. Into what we're going to be moving on to for next year, what I'm looking into, researching and purchasing. For my daughter, for English, we are going to be doing The Good and the Beautiful Year 4. We use their readers anyway. We're just going to cut some parts out because she found it a little bit too much, but she's naturally a writer and a reader. So I think there's beautiful poetry, artwork, things that she really did enjoy. And it's a really good, robust, not too expensive curriculum from America. So we're going to be using that. It'll be pick up and go. She can do it independently, and I'll just be checking her work and reading alongside her. For her maths, she will definitely stick with teaching textbooks. It's been amazing. On to my son, he will be moving to Sunlight. He will be continuing with Sunlight. He's going to hopefully finish the K this year and be starting with the Year 1 next year. And for maths, we're going to be moving to Maths with Confidence, which I'm super excited about. I feel like it has everything that Dimensions has that's good and doesn't have all the stuff that's bad. So it's a conceptual math, it's spiral, it's full of games, hands-on activities. I can't wait. Next year also, we're going to be using, as I said, the Sunlight History, Bible, Literature, and their first science course. And I just feel so excited to step up the game, to be having a really intentional time with history and science. We will be doing history 1 week, then science, then history, then science. History is also incorporating geography. And we'll be doing Bible every morning, and then obviously English and maths in our main school time. So that will be exciting. I'm going to be having a child in Year 4, a child in Year 2, a kindergartner, and a preschool child, and a baby. So stick around, guys. It's going to be fun. We're going to have all the stuff going on. Yeah, thank you so much for sticking around. Please subscribe, like, comment. I just want this space to be a community for us Australian mums. So chat down in the comments, and I'll see you soon.